today we're talking about one of the greatest love stories, one of my favorite crossovers, fashion and anime. There are so many iconic and influential series when it comes to style. Do keep in mind that I'm putting storytelling aside. I know, somewhat criminal, but the purpose of today is to focus in on the aesthetics. And with that being said, anyone, regardless of whether you have seen these shows or not, if you appreciate good fashion, I think you'll be able to find some inspo for yourself. But before we get into the rankings, I want to give a big thank you to today's video sponsor, award-winning VPN, Surfshark. One of my favorite uses for Surfshark is to watch more anime. If you guys didn't know, the version of Netflix you see can be completely different to someone on the other side of the world, but with Surfshark, you're able to quickly and easily change those location settings and instantly have access to a ton more content. So many more anime options on there. You can watch titles like Bongo Stray Dogs, Fruits Basket, Tokyo Revengers, or if you feel like switching up the mood, there is something for everyone to find out there, from K-dramas to Drag Race. And if you're like me, and let's face it, most people, and share your Netflix account with others, don't worry, Surfshark has you covered with unlimited devices under just one account. Of course, they have a long list of other benefits, including ensuring your privacy and safety online by protecting all of your personal information. You can use my code SPOTLIGHT for 83% off, plus 3 extra months for free, and Surfshark is also giving away their antivirus to anyone using my code for this month of June only. Since they have a 30-day money-back guarantee, you can try it all risk-free via the link on screen and down below in the description box. You can probably guess where I'm going to be starting this conversation, of course, with Aizawa's holy trinity of Nana, Paradise Kiss, and Neighborhood Story. I find all 3 of these equally as fashionable. I actually even have art books for 2 of these, and whenever I'm feeling a bit stuck for style inspo, I always find myself flicking through them. She is most known for this punk-inspired Vivienne Westwood loving aesthetic, which of course we most predominantly see in Nana through all the members of Blast. Despite the hiatus since 2009, the fandom feels as strong as ever thanks to TikTok. I'm constantly seeing Nana Osaki inspired outfits and Takumi slander on my For You page. I'd even go as far to say that it had somewhat to do with the popularity of alt style and Vivienne Westwood over lockdown, but the more feminine styles of Reira and Hachi shouldn't be overlooked either. I've already got an entire lookbook on this, so I think I should move on to Paradise Kiss. To me, this feels like the most unattainable of the bunch, but still beautiful to look at, from the stunning dress designs to George's suits to Isabella's stunning headwear. You can tell she must really love the alt J fashion scene though, because you still have some characters sneaking in there. And this even carries through to her earlier work on Neighborhood Story as well, although to a lesser extent. And actually, this is probably my favorite of the trio. I'm such a sucker for the vibrant colors, the choice of fun accessories, and it almost has this retro 60s feel to it. I guess it's only fair to follow that up with looking into the actual big 3 of One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. For me, one of these is not like the other, and yes, I'm sorry to say it is Naruto. I am actually a Naruto fan, but you can't deny that the character design and overall drawing style just isn't as pleasing to the eye. Bleach, on the other hand, now you're speaking my language. If you're into cool 2000 style that is actually wearable, look no further. Every volume features Pinterest-worthy new styles, and the thing I really admire about it is that it just has this effortlessly cool vibe to it. I mean, even in the series when we see them wearing uniforms a lot of the time, everyone's adding their own little personal spice to it to keep things fresh. And then in contrast to that, if we flip over to One Piece, I feel like they're not as wearable, but I think that might just have to do with the fact that he draws bodies in such an over-exaggerated way that to me, it already feels more costumey, even without looking at the clothes themselves. But as someone who is currently watching this for the first time, trust me, there is so much to take inspo from, even if it's just color combinations, particular themes, or I feel like they do outerwear pieces really well. And since there's so many characters, the options feel endless. If you guys are a One Piece fan, let me know who you think are some of the most stylish characters though. I know Doflamingo is up there for a lot of people. Do you prefer Robin's style or Nami's? I feel like it would be easier for me to recreate Robin's looks, but I am a Nami simp at this point, so cannot look past my girl. Can we please talk about the icon that is excuse my pronunciation, Naoko Takeuchi, the creator of Sailor Moon. This is probably one of the most internationally well-known series amongst people who aren't anime fans. It was my introduction to anime as well, and it's again one that I have done a full dedicated lookbook on before. Of course, there's always bonus points when any form of animated media actually gives the characters different outfits from episode to episode. The outfits are very cute and casual, a lot of color blocking, and just generally a lot of trends that were popular at the time in the early 90s. Of course, she's also known for some more dramatic looks that were actually directly inspired by designers at the time, including the likes of Dior, Mugler, and YSL. She's also one half of the most famous power couple in the industry with Togashi, the creator of Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho, series that once again have some very memorable looks. Often you see Killua referenced as one of the most stylish anime characters of all time, which of course only makes it more baffling that he never helps go and pick out a new outfit. But regardless, I do think that he has some of the most memorable looks, whether it is Leorio's suit and glasses combo or Hisoka's card-themed outfits. However, his earlier work in Yu Yu Hakusho, almost similar to Sailor Moon with that same late 80s, early 90s style inspo of trends, having the jeans, the jackets, a lot of color blocking, has a very timeless and wearable feel to it. I know a lot of old school anime enthusiasts still rate this as top tier #1, so let me know where it ranks for you. What would this video be without a dedicated segment to magical girls? This in itself could be its own dedicated video because there's just so much to choose from. If I have to narrow it down to a few standouts, I'm definitely including Tokyo Mew Mew. I just adore the character design and the commitment to the monochromatic fit from head to toe. One of my favorites that I am always coming back to for inspo is, shockingly, a character that's only supposed to be about 11 years old. Like, who gave her the right to dress that well? It is Shugo Chara. Even if you don't want to watch the series, literally just looking at the cover art on like the DVD collection is enough to feel inspired. Of course, we cannot forget fan favorite cardcaptor Sakura. I often get requests for her on my previous anime videos, and I feel you because she has some of the most stunning ensembles. Personally, I don't think I can recreate it with my current wardrobe. There's a lot of voluminous skirts, capes, accessories, and specific details that I'm not so sure how to adopt it into my everyday style outside of just going for the sailor inspired uniform. Actually, before we move on, we have to give a shout out to Clamp in general. Some of the most beautiful artwork and character designs with series like Chobits and XXXholic. Another kind of subcategory I think deserves a moment is series that take a somewhat gothic influence with their design. This includes popular series like Black Butler, making us want to dress like a small Victorian boy. I will admit other series in this field I haven't actually seen or read myself, but I'm always getting recommended them on my Pinterest board, so you know the style must be good. For example, Zone 00, incredible artwork. This particular image I actually only just came across the other day from The Betrayal Knows My Name. Instantly obsessed with everything that is going on in this look. I guess a less costumey, more watered down version of this could be Death Note. Misa Amane kind of has some gothic influence to some of her looks, but I guess generally a more mainstream alt approach. Absolute style icon nonetheless, and carries the show in that regard. Mello also has a really good fit, and if you've seen the original design for Ryuk, damn. I'm assuming it's somewhat of a universal experience to be introduced to anime as a kid without actually knowing what anime is. For us here in Australia, that was through the form of Cheese TV / Toasted TV, pretty much just a free-to-air kids morning show that would feature numerous different cartoons and anime. Just your standard popular series, ones I've already mentioned, like Sailor Moon and One Piece. Also Dragon Ball Z, obviously a cult-like following, which I'm just gonna expose myself right now. I've never seen it and I don't plan to. Trunks and Bulma do have some fits though, I will give you that. One of their most played was definitely Pokemon, and I actually want to do a separate video on this, dressing like different types and trainers, so stay tuned. One that I probably watched the most though was Yu-Gi-Oh! Please raise your hand if you had a crush on Kaiba as a kid. Yeah. Definitely some cool styles to explore there, but when it comes to the Cheese TV alum, for me, my pick's gotta be Digimon. I don't know what to tell you. These kids know how to dress. More importantly, they know the importance of accessorizing. I am a strong believer in adding 10 points to any outfit that features goggles. And you already know I'm partial to a good hat as well. And just because it was my guilty pleasure that actually got me back into anime, I have to mention Fairy Tail, as that has some of the best transformation looks, and of course Lucy always looking cute. Personally, I'm a Juvia girl myself. I know you've been waiting for it. Perhaps you've even already written out an angry comment on the off chance I don't mention it. Of course, it is the masterpiece that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is truly on another level when it comes to stylistic inspo. There is just an endless amount of characters that are serving looks to you every damn time. There are so many details to enjoy. I think I've actually featured a JoJo inspired look in every one of my dressing like anime characters videos, and I've also done a dedicated TikTok as well. Rohan's always going to be number one for me. You're gonna have a hard time changing my mind, and I think it's just because I relate to his style in a way. Like, it's quite often fairly wearable, but there's always just something that pushes it over the edge to be a little bit extra. I'd love to hear who has your vote though, because this is probably the one series that has the most competition for best dress. So feel free to plead your case. One of the greatest appeals about JoJo's is that everyone gets to have their own individual personal style, but obviously that's not the case in all shows. So we do have a little dedicated section now for what we'll refer to as a cheeky little uniform sleigh. Most of them are going to feature the same characteristics that make up your standard uniform, so a lot of the time the only things that are setting them apart are either an introduction of some accessories or just whatever color palette you prefer. The Ouran High School Host Club blazers are always going to have a special place in my heart. I'm also pretty much a fan of any iteration of a blue and gray color combo because it's something I find myself reaching for a lot in my everyday wardrobe. At this point, the very infamous Vampire Night, I think that their uniforms are actually really cool and also take that kind of gothic influence that we were talking about earlier. In typical me fashion, I have saved some of the most stylish till last. Of course, we have to discuss Bongo Stray Dogs. I think the reason this stands out to a lot of us is just because it's not as common to see these academia aesthetics, which is kind of crazy because despite the fact that a lot of these clothing items are actually just wardrobe classics, somehow it becomes so memorable and synonymous with these characters. For example, Zazai's trench. This just always serves as a great reminder to me that it's okay to dial it back and go for a more simplistic option because it can still turn out to be a great fit. Just to completely contradict myself, we are now throwing that sentiment out the window because my next one is Supergals. Their fashion sense is truly the epitome of everything I loved as a kid. The outfits are just very 2000s it girl in Shibuya. The use of color, prints, accessories are all right up my alley. If I had to pick an anime wardrobe to steal, it would definitely be between this one and also Mikiko, who we talked about at the beginning of this video. This sort of Garu subculture is probably something we'll end up touching on more when I do my Fruits magazine, which I promise it's coming really soon. As an incredibly indecisive person, I am truly shocked that I have decided to commit to just one anime to be my number one top ranking most stylish of all time. But that is just how strongly I feel about the costume design in Soul Leader. I did a dedicated TikTok on this. It didn't do very well, but it's still my favorite. And I don't know how they manage it because so many of them don't even have a complimentary vibe, but somehow it just works in the end. I would honestly happily wear anyone's outfit in this show, which is why I'm happy to commit to this being the most stylish. There is no weak link. It's obviously a super popular show that a lot of people have seen, but if you're more of like a new school fan, maybe this one has slipped under your radar since it is a bit older now. Oh my god, I actually have such bad jaw pain, so I know I've been talking for way too long. My apologies. This topic I could go on forever, so please feel free to keep it going in the comments. I'll be posting some more anime outfits over on my TikTok, so make sure you check me out there. And also, don't forget to check out today's video sponsor, Surfshark, before you go, but hopefully I'll be seeing you around. Bye!